Imagine this. You're in a meeting and someone takes credit for your idea. Your chest tightens. You feel that familiar rush of frustration. Most people would react immediately. Sharp words, passive-aggressive comments, or silent resentment. But what if I told you there's a way to handle this? Without anger, without conflict, and with complete control. Or picture this. A colleague, a friend, or even a stranger constantly belittles you, acting superior, trying to provoke a reaction. Most people fall right into the trap, letting arrogance dictate their emotions. But there's a secret Stoic approach that flips the script entirely. A method so subtle, yet so powerful, it disarms even the most confident egos, and it starts with a single, simple shift in your mind. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how to stop reacting impulsively, understand why arrogance is never really about you, and gain practical strategies to remain calm, composed, and in control, even when someone is trying to provoke you. Stick with me, because what you're about to discover could change the way you handle every arrogant person in your life. Now, let's dive into the first step: how to stop reacting and start observing. This is where Stoicism truly begins to work. Imagine this: you're at work and a colleague takes credit for an idea you worked hard on. Your chest tightens, your mind screams. You feel that familiar surge of anger rising. Most of us instinctively react. A sharp retort, a passive-aggressive email. Maybe you stew silently, letting the resentment fester. But here's the truth. Reacting impulsively rarely fixes anything. In fact, it often makes things worse. This is where Stoicism steps in. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Emotional detachment is not about being cold. It's about creating a space between stimulus and response, a space where clarity and control emerge. Picture this. Instead of snapping, you pause. You observe. You notice the surge of anger, the tightness in your chest, the rush of thoughts. And then you respond deliberately. Or maybe you don't respond at all. That pause, that observation, is where your power lies. Why does this work? Because reacting is driven by instinct, often clouded by ego and bias. Observing first allows your rational mind to weigh options, to choose a response aligned with your values. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let's make this practical. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, or a coworker undermines you, instead of reacting with frustration, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, does this truly matter in the long run? Often, you'll find it doesn't, and in that moment you've gained calm where others might have lost it. This principle doesn't just apply to big, obvious conflicts. It's in small, daily irritations too. The barista who gets your order wrong, the friend who's late, the notifications that keep pinging. Oh, do you may hear for big stuff. Observe, don't react. Your inner peace is worth far more than a fleeting win in an argument. And here's the deeper truth. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes. Your mind becomes a watchtower, calmly surveying the chaos below. The world hasn't changed. Now, with this foundation of observation, let's move to the next step. Learning how to speak without ego, to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. Because observation alone is powerful, but combined with thoughtful action, it becomes unstoppable. Have you ever noticed how some people seem determined to make you feel small? A coworker brags excessively, a friend dismisses your ideas, a stranger criticizes without cause. The instinctive reaction: offense, hurt, defensiveness. But here's the subtle truth. Arrogance is rarely about you. It's about them. Think about it. Arrogance often springs from insecurity, from a fear of being seen as inadequate, from an ego desperate for validation. The louder someone proclaims their superiority, the more fragile the foundation beneath it. Seneca reminds us, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Their arrogance is their own internal struggle, not a measure of your value. Imagine two people. One walks confidently through life, grounded in self-awareness. The other constantly needs to assert dominance, to prove worth. That second person's arrogance is a shield, a mask, to cover self-doubt. You observing this, have a choice: react defensively, or recognize the truth and remain steady. Psychology calls this projection. They project their fear, inadequacy, or ego-driven anxiety onto others, hoping to control the perception of their world. But as a Stoic, you understand that other people's opinions are outside your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone does wrong, it is because they are mistaken, not because you have failed. Their arrogance is theirs alone. It reflects nothing about your character." So next time someone belittles you or acts condescendingly, pause and ask, what does this reveal about them? When you shift perspective, the sting fades. You feel empowered, not diminished. You gain clarity, and suddenly, you are no longer a victim of someone else's ego. Understanding this transforms your reactions. Offense loses power, patience grows, and your focus shifts from defending your worth to cultivating your own inner strength. With this perspective firmly in mind, we can move forward to uncover the 5 powerful phrases that disarm arrogance, turning these encounters from draining into empowering moments. Imagine this: you're in a meeting, and someone interrupts you, speaking over your idea with a self-important tone. Your first instinct might be to snap back, or at least simmer in silent frustration. But what if you didn't react? What if, instead, you disarmed the situation calmly, without conflict? The first step is simple, yet powerful. Calm the acknowledgement. Nod slightly, maintain your composure, and say nothing immediately. Your silence, paired with steady confidence, shifts the energy. You're no longer feeding their need for a reaction. You're observing, just as we practiced in Chapter 1. Next, empathy. This may sound counterintuitive, empathy for someone arrogant. Yet, when you consider that arrogance often masks fear or insecurity, it changes everything. You might think to yourself, they're trying to protect themselves, not attack me. Epictetus advises, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Recognizing their struggle doesn't excuse rudeness. It frees you from taking it personally. Then comes reflective listening, a subtle but disarming technique. Repeat or summarize what they said in your own words, calmly and clearly. Example: so you feel strongly that this approach is best. Thank you for sharing that. Nothing aggressive, nothing defensive, just acknowledgement. Often, people deflate when their words are heard without resistance, and you maintain control over your own reactions. Think of it like chess. Every arrogant comment is a move on the board. Your response is strategic, not reactive. The mental shift from emotional reaction to deliberate action is where true power lies. You're no longer a pawn in their game. You're a player, observing, calculating, and responding with intention. By mastering these subtle techniques, encounters that once drained your energy become opportunities to exercise calm, wisdom, and control. And once you understand how to neutralize arrogance this way, you're ready to learn the 5 phrases that can disarm even the most confident egos, transforming tension into respect. Picture this: someone boasts loudly, cutting through a group conversation, trying to dominate every word. Most people would respond immediately, maybe with sarcasm or a defensive remark. But here's the secret: the most powerful response is often silence. Strategic silence is not awkwardness, it's control. By pausing, you create space. You let the other person's words hang in the air, giving them a moment to confront their own reasoning. The silence is a mirror. Marcus Aurelius said, "He who does not value himself cannot value others." By refusing to react hastily, you subtly force them to reflect. Now, combine silence with curiosity-driven questions. Imagine responding to a boast with something simple. "That's interesting. How did you come to that conclusion?" Or, "Can you explain your thought process a bit more?" No accusation, no confrontation, just questions. Suddenly, the arrogant person shifts from performance to explanation. Their ego becomes introspective. Their narrative loses its aggressive edge. Think of it like a stage magician's trick. The audience sees the hand moving dramatically, while the magician quietly manipulates the real action behind the scenes. Your silence and questions are your hands. Subtle, strategic, invisible, but profoundly effective. Even small everyday situations can benefit. A colleague cuts you off in a Zoom call. Pause. Ask, "I'm curious, could you clarify that point?" A friend brags excessively. Respond with calm curiosity. How did you manage to achieve that? Their arrogance begins to unravel, not because you attacked it, but because you invited reflection. The key here is mental mastery. You shift from reactive frustration to quiet strategy. Arrogance loses its power when it meets patience, curiosity, and calm observation. And once you've mastered this approach, the next step is even more practical. The 5 precise phrases that can disarm arrogant people instantly, giving you a toolkit for real-world encounters. Imagine this. Someone criticizes your work, boasting about their superior method, and you feel a flash of irritation. The natural reaction: to defend yourself, or worse, to take it personally. But what if you could see it differently? This is the power of reframing. Arrogance is rarely about you. It's a reflection of someone else's fears, insecurities, or ego-driven needs. By shifting perspective, you turn what once felt like an attack into a mirror of their struggle. Epictetus reminds us, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Your interpretation controls your experience, not their words. Next comes Stoic detachment, the mental armor that protects your energy. Focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Everything else, their opinions, their arrogance, their attempts to provoke, is outside your power. Marcus Aurelius advised, if someone does wrong, it is because they are mistaken, not because you have failed. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means freedom. Freedom from unnecessary frustration, freedom to act wisely, freedom to maintain calm. Practical phrasing reinforces this mindset. When faced with arrogance, you can quietly say to yourself, "This reflects their struggle, not my worth." Or, in conversation, respond with neutral acknowledgement. Interesting perspective. I'll consider that. No tension, no ego, no wasted energy. For viewers, a simple daily exercise helps solidify this armor. Whenever someone triggers irritation, pause. Reframe the situation, ask yourself, what does this reveal about them? Not me, then detach. Observe your emotions without judgment. Over time, this becomes instinctive, your inner peace immune to external arrogance. With reframing and detachment in place, you now possess true inner armor, ready to handle arrogance with calm, strategy, and wisdom. And once mastered, you'll find that disarming arrogance no longer requires effort. It becomes second nature. Let's take a moment to step back and reflect. What have we learned about handling arrogance? First, we saw the power of observation over reaction, pausing, noticing our emotions, and reclaiming control. Then, we understood that arrogance is about them, Not you, a reflection of their fears and ego, not a measure of your worth. We explored practical strategies, calm acknowledgement, empathy, and reflective listening, subtle tools to disarm tension without conflict. We discovered the quiet strength of silence and curiosity-driven questions, letting arrogance meet reflection instead of resistance. And we embraced reframing and stoic detachment, building inner armor that protects our peace and energy. All of these techniques share a common thread, the power to choose your response. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By controlling your mind, you control your world. By observing, reframing, and responding wisely, you shift from reaction to mastery. Think of it like training a muscle. Each encounter with arrogance is an opportunity to strengthen patience, wisdom, and composure. Over time, what once triggered frustration now becomes a chance to exercise self-mastery. You gain clarity. You maintain calm. You act with intention. So next time arrogance crosses your path, remember, it is not a threat, it is an opportunity to rise above, to respond with wisdom, and to safeguard your inner peace. The world may try to provoke you, but the true victory lies in your calm, unshakable mind. If you found these strategies useful, share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more insights, and remember, mastery begins within. Now, it's your turn. Take these strategies, observation, reframing, calm acknowledgement, silence, and detachment, and apply them consciously in your daily life. Every interaction with arrogance is a chance to practice self-mastery. Share your experiences in the comments. Let others learn from how you've handled challenges. Subscribe for more insights on Stoicism, emotional control, and personal growth, because wisdom grows when it's applied, not just observed. And remember this from Marcus Aurelius: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Protect your mind. Respond with intention. Let composure, clarity, and calm guide every encounter. Your inner strength is the true victory.